What's up YouTube, Potato here, and today we're going to be showing you guys the best Black Ops 7 settings that I have been using on my Singularity grind. It makes the game feel a lot smoother. And more specifically on the PC side of the player base, I've heard a lot of people complaining about the graphics, or more specifically how blurry it is. And if you're only looking to fix that, I have it all chaptered below. But let's get right into the settings. And starting off with controller settings. Personally, I use Tactical in 1.65, but this entire tab is basically just personal preference. The only thing that isn't really personal preference, it kind of is, but is swapping LB and RB with LT and RT. Basically what this does is make it so that you shoot with your bumpers and throw your tacticals and lethals with your triggers. I would use this if you don't have trigger stops on like a custom controller, but if you have a custom controller with trigger stops, then it doesn't really matter. You can just use whatever you want. Or if you like shooting with your triggers without trigger stops, then that's fine as well. I ain't gonna stop you. But controller vibration, I definitely would have this off. It's not really necessary. In my opinion, it just makes it harder to aim whenever you're being shot at, but once again, personal preference. I wouldn't have it on, but you do you. And now for the dead zones. My left stick minimum is 3, and my max is 50. The reason why my max is so low is, pretty obvious reasons. I want to be able to be moving as fast as possible, as quick as I possibly can. So all that I have to move is my joystick. Wait, is there like a test? Yeah, there's a test. Okay. All I have to do is move my joystick like half of the way up, and I'm already at max. Like, I'm at 100% moving, going as fast as I possibly can, as quick as possible. You can also even go lower. Like, I've seen some people that play with 40, some play with 60, but I personally choose 50 for me. Then for the right stick min, I have 3. Now for your right stick minimum, I would just use whatever is like the lowest you can go without having stick drift. For me, I get 2 stick drift normally. Actually, I'm gonna show you how to test this out here for yourself. So put it to 0 and 100. Turn on test stick dead zone. Spin your joystick in a circle and then just stop. Just let it sit there. And see how it says 1% horizontal and 1% vertical? That means that you're going to want it slightly above that number. For me, it's 1%, so I just have it at 3, because sometimes it doesn't go over 2. That time I was sort of low, though. But yeah, just put it slightly above whatever your stick drift is. And then I have my max at 99, because I should think that was just the default, and I never really changed it, because it was just 1. 100 is just fine, though. I'm going to stick with 99. And now for your triggers, it defaults to 13, but you absolutely should put it on 0. I mean, it's pretty obvious reasons, to be honest. You just get 0 delay on pulling your trigger, which is very, very important in a game where first shot is very important, or really any FPS first shot is really important. But anyways, moving on to aiming. We have sensitivity multiplier. I don't do anything with this. I have it all on 1.0. I used to play with custom sensitivity per zoom. Like over here, you can see I used to play like this, but I have it off now. And the reason I have it off is because I felt like while I was transitioning between my ADS sense and my not aim down sight sensitivity, I was shooting like really weirdly, because I was transitioning between the two. Like it felt kind of weird. So I shut it off, and I also do think it made my aim a lot better. But you can use a multiplier. Don't make it super low. Like I used to play on a 0.7. I would do like a 0.9 at the max. But anyways, and for your aim response curve, you definitely want this on dynamic, because a big change for BO7, something that mouse and key players have been asking for since the day they were able to play the game, is an aim assist nerf. They have basically gotten rid of rotational aim assist. If you haven't played the game for yourself, you probably won't know what I'm talking about, besides, I don't know if you saw a Twitter post about it. But once you play the game, you'll know what I'm talking about. Aim assist got nerfed so hard. And dynamic does help you out with your aim assist a lot. It makes it a lot stronger. So definitely use dynamic. Linear is also good, but I definitely wouldn't use standard. Your ADS sensitivity, transitioning timing. This is if you use ADS sensitivity, which I don't, but when I did, you absolutely want it on instant. You don't want it on gradual. Same thing as dynamic. It'll make your aim feel weird as you're transitioning between the two. And there's nothing really third person in this game, so this setting doesn't really matter, but I guess just have it on assist. And moving down, obviously aim assist on. Now moving on to movement, I have sprint assist on. A lot of people like tactical sprint assist. I personally just like having it on so that I can shoot my gun faster out of a sprint. But honestly, in BO7 now, where tactical sprint doesn't exist unless you have a perk, I think on is really good. I don't really see a reason for tactical sprint assist, unless you're using that perk in specific, which kind of sucks. I would not use that perk, because it nerfs your base sprinting speed, but then gives you tactical sprint, which is quicker than your sprinting speed, which kind of weird. I don't know. I would just use normal sprint, but I'm going to stick with it on. Tactical sprint assist does work, though. You do, you personal preference. Mental assist off for obvious reasons. Most things you don't want like the assist on for. You want to be able to control as much as you can in a game. Because if you've ever been in a gunfight and you just like mantle onto some random table before, this setting is why. It defaults to on for some reason. I couldn't explain to you why. But definitely shut this off if you have it on. It's very annoying, especially in gunfights. And then crouch assist also off. I've never had this on. I've never really tried it, actually, I guess. But, I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious why you shouldn't have this on. Now, moving on to corner slicing. I personally have this on. I've never really seen a problem with it. Some people said actually, you can't actually use it in the firing range anymore. Before it used to be able to. The firing range is really weird in BO6. Like, it's rendered very poorly. It feels kind of laggy. I don't know what's wrong with the firing range. But I guess you can wall jump in it, so that's something. But you probably know what corner slicing is. It's the thing in the game where, actually, it's probably on the screen right now, where whenever you're up against a wall, you kind of tilt your gun to the side a little bit. That's what corner slicing is. I haven't seen any problems with it, like I said, though. Some people have been saying some stuff, well, have said some stuff, where in Warzone, if you're shooting, like, by a tree, it can kind of tilt your gun all over the place. I've never had that problem before, so I just keep it on. But you can shut it off. Most of this stuff is personal preference. I'm just explaining what the settings do so you can make your own informed decision. And now for slide and dive behavior, I personally use hybrid, which makes it so there's very minimal delay in your slide. I don't know if that makes sense. If you play tap to slide, though, basically there is a delay when you actually click your joystick from when you slide, because whenever you use tap to slide, the computer has to check whether you're holding your button down or tapping it, which increases the delay. Which is why a lot of people play slide only, but I personally like having the ability to dolphin dive as well. So I use a hybrid, where you just tap your thing once to slide, just like normal. But the thing is, if you're holding your left joystick down, then you dolphin dive, and it's still just one tap. It makes it so there's zero delay on both of them. It's kind of hard to show you. I can't really show you because you wouldn't know exactly when I'm clicking the button. You would just see me sliding. But definitely use it. You'll see it when you turn the setting on. It is hybrid's the best in my opinion. Slide only is good though. Slide only is good if you don't want to learn hybrid though. But moving on to the next one, automatic airborne mantle. Once again, you want to be in control of most things in the game. I hate mantling randomly in the middle of a gunfight, or really at any time. So I have almost everything that's automatic off besides sprint assist, but definitely keep this off. And then for sprint restore and slide maintain sprint, you're going to want both of these on. The slide maintain sprint is just so you can keep your momentum while you slide cancel around the map. And then the same thing with sprinting restore, it helps you keep your momentum. So it is best to have it on. And parachute automatic behavior, you also want this off. Same reason I said with the other things. This is kind of a Warzone only thing, but actually I don't even think it's going to be in Warzone this year because this isn't a wingsuit now. I believe it is, but anyways, you always want this off. It's just so that you can drop to the ground and pull your parachute last second instead of pulling it like 100 meters up in the sky or whatever. This is a Warzone thing. Don't really have to worry about this now. Wingsuit activation, I have it on manual. I have almost everything on manual. The only game mode where you can use the swing. I can't speak English. The only game mode where you can actually use the wingsuit in though is the co-op campaign. And then I forgot the name of it, the skirmish game mode, 20 versus 20, whatever you're spawning in. But besides that, you'll never see the wingsuit. It might be in Warzone, I'm not sure though, because I'm not sure if it's a wingsuit or a parachute. I don't know why this setting would be here if it was a wingsuit, but I don't know, I guess I'll have to play then and find out. For wall jump activation, I have it on press. I feel like holding would create the same problem that it does with hybrid. I think it would create a delay to when you're wall jumping. And then also, if you have the setting off, to be honest, you might as well just play BO6, because this is the only thing I can think of they changed. So yeah, I would definitely just have it on press. There's no real reason to change that setting. And then, for the combat role behavior, I just haven't seen this in any of the game modes yet. I haven't seen it in skirmish. I haven't played the campaign, but I haven't seen anyone doing it over there either. I'm pretty sure this is a Warzone only thing. But basically, if you play Battlefield, it's similar to that, where if you're dropping down from like a tall height, you can roll to reduce your fall damage, as it actually, it doesn't describe it over here, but so never mind. But I just keep this on the default because I haven't seen it like at all in the game. But I mean, do whatever you want with it. I haven't seen where it's used in the game, so I haven't really changed it at all. But anyways, moving on to the next one, combat roll camera. Once again, I haven't seen the combat rolls yet. We're just gonna move past this stuff. Now for movement advanced settings, most of these settings you don't have to change. The only thing that I would change if you haven't already is grounded mantle. What this does is basically whenever there's like a small object, like, I don't know, a small little rock or something, whenever you click your jump button, you will do a little mantle animation to put over it. The reason why I like having this off is because it puts your gun down. You're not able to shoot while you're doing the mantle animation, but if you have it off, you will not mantle and you will instead jump onto it, just like a normal jump, just like this. Which, while your aim does get really weird whenever you're jumping, it's better than not being able to shoot at all. So I would keep that off for me personally. If you really like mantling for some reason, though, you can keep it on. And then all this other stuff doesn't really matter. Plunging underwater, I mean, yeah. So now moving on to combat. Most of this stuff is very, very basic. You want your armor plate behavior on apply all instead of apply one. because I mean, apply one just speeds up the process. Apply one, it immediately starts the animation of putting another plate on instead of apply one, which you have to hold it one at a time, which, I mean, obviously just takes longer. I'm pretty sure the default is apply all now, but at one point in time it wasn't, so if you haven't changed your settings since then, you're going to want to change it to apply all. And once again, most of this stuff doesn't really matter too much. So now moving on to graphic settings. Now, a lot of PC players in specific had this problem where when they first loaded up the game, it was super blurry for some reason. And this happened to a lot of people I know, and including me. And the problem that it was for me, at least for different people, it's different things. But what it was for me is whenever I imported my settings, for some reason, it put my resolution at 50, which obviously makes the game very blurry. I mean, you guys... Actually, I can just show you real quick. It makes the game incredibly blurry compared to what it is when I use my normal resolution. Because this is 720p, and then I play on a 1440p monitor. So 100 is much better than 720. So make sure that's at 100. And it doesn't matter what monitor you're on. Like, even if you have a 1080p, 100 will be your monitor's native resolution. So just set it to 100 no matter what monitor you have. For upscale and sharpening, fidelity cast, for some reason I had sharpening just completely off, which is, well, when I imported my settings, it put it to off. I normally use fidelity cast because that is the best, but for some reason it defaulted to off for me. So make sure you have fidelity cast on, strength 100. It'll help with the blurriness of your game. And then something else, this is pretty obvious, but if you haven't changed it, actually turn depth of field off before we get to that. But then you're going to want your world motion blur and weapon motion blur off, obviously. That is the most common cause for blur, but it's also very easy to fix. I would assume most people have done that already. Camera movement, you want 50%. I mean, once again, pretty obvious. You don't want your camera to be moving all over the place. If you really like the realism feel of the game, or you want to play the campaign and have a more immersive experience, and it's fine to just keep this on 100 if you're like that. But I would say 50% is the best for just playing the game in general. And then I personally don't use inverted flashbang. A lot of people do, though. I guess it could help with your eyes. Basically what it does is whenever you get thrown a flashbang, normally it's bright white, and it can hurt your eyes. And then inverted flashbang just makes it black. It just makes it completely black whenever you get hit with a flashbang, and then the black will just go away. And actually, as it says here, the low light black effect is particularly helpful for people with photosensitivity concerns. I don't have any of those problems, but if you do, be sure to turn this setting on. And now for basically the last one, audio. There's not too much in the interface. There's a couple stuff I do want to go over, though. But basically for the last one, for audio, you are going to want the cinematic music at 0. Cinematic and gameplay music, both at 0. I guess you can keep the cinematic one on. Cinematic is just lobby music, I think, right? Yeah, it's the music in the lobby. It's just this music. If you want it on, I guess keep it on. But I would shut off the gameplay music, because it makes it really hard, for me at least, in-game, because it'll play music super loud whenever you're like in a fight. Once again, if you're playing the campaign, you could probably just keep this on, but for the multiplayer experience, definitely off so you can hear stuff better. And now for the speakers, headphone, I mean, this is just obviously set this to whatever your headphone is. That kind of goes without saying. But then enhanced headphone mode, I personally like having this off, but if you want to pay for the configuration and all that stuff, basically this will bring you to a website. I can't go to the website because it'll show a bunch of information, but you can go to this website and you can pay like 20 bucks and it'll tune the audio for your, like, the shape of your ear. It'll make it so spatial audio is more precise. I never really bothered doing it because I honestly don't have that many problems with audio. I don't even use Art as War. Like, as you see, I just straight up use the default system device, which, if I can find it, is Game Elgato Virtual Audio. I don't use Art as War, and I personally don't have problems with the audio in this game. If you do, I guess you can do all this with the 20 bucks, but I don't think it's worth it. For the audio mix, you're going to want Sucker Punch. What this does is it makes it so that audio, or more specifically enemy audio, is very loud within like the 30-meter range. Like footsteps are very, very loud within the 30-meter range, and it quiets down a lot of other things that are close to you. Like just random background noise, like, I don't know, a fan or something. So this is definitely the best one, in my opinion, at least. There are some other ones that are pretty good. Like I've heard Treyarch Mix is good. Don't use any of the other ones unless they're like literally what you use. Like if you're playing on a home theater TV, then obviously use home theater. But otherwise, Sucker Punch, Treyarch Mix if you're playing with headphones. I wouldn't bother with any of the other ones. So moving on to the next one, mono audio. We can skip it over this one. This basically just shuts off spatial audio. No real reason for it. Mute licensed music. Actually, if you make YouTube videos, definitely have this on because your videos can get copyrighted if you were to have this off. because it could play copyrighted music, and it's not fun. And now for the last setting over here is the titness sound. This is basically just the ringing whenever you get hit with a flashbang. It says right here, tinnitus sound. I'm probably slandering that word, but beside the point. Sound from concussion and flash grenades. Shell shock is replaced by a more dull, murky sound. It just makes it a little bit quieter so you can hear stuff around you slightly better while being flashbanged. You still really can't hear anything, but a little better is better than not any better. So now moving on to the last few settings of this entire settings video, we're going to want to go over to gameplay HUD bounds, and you're going to want this on the lowest possible, or at least I do. I like this so that all of my HUD is close to the center of the screen so I can see everything that's going on. I don't have to look into the corner of my map the corner of my screen where nothing is happening to see my menu map. I like having it closer to my player. As you can see, this is like as far as I can go. Like I can't pull it any closer. So this is how I like doing it, just the minimum. You can do whatever you want. If you like having your stuff far out, do that. But I personally like having it as close as possible. And now the only other one that really matters over here, have your crosshair whatever you want. I have the lines on my crosshair off. I just have the dot, and I have the dot as white. Some people like a pink dot. I don't mind the white dot. I think it's fine. And now, actually, wait, where is it? I think they moved where it is. Actually, I just looked into it. They apparently got rid of the setting that I was talking about. Basically, in BO6, you had to switch your minimap rotation over from circle to square, but now it is only on square, so that's actually a massive W. And also, for any of the other small settings, you can just import your settings over from BO6 if you don't want to go through customizing all the stuff, which is also completely fine. There's some settings that it won't update, like the graphic settings for me. Like, I imported my settings, and it didn't update really any of the graphic settings. It did, like, the stuff in view, but it never did anything in quality, which is what gave me some problems with, like, the quality of the game. Like I said, it started my thing at 50 for some reason, and then it had no sharpening, which was really weird. But if you want to import settings, just be sure that everything is right. Go through it one time before you get into the game. And that is going to be it for today, chat. If you enjoyed, please remember to like and subscribe. We go live normally every day 5 to 9, but since BO7 come out, we've been dropping a 12-hour banger stream after banger stream. Camera grinding. Today is the day, actually day 0. I took a flight over to New Zealand to play the game early because I have no life. But I already got 4 of my guns gold. I'm going for Singularity by the end of the week, so be sure to stay tuned for that. We're going to be having some long streams until we end up getting Singularity. But that's all for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.